I bet you never thought that you could make jewellery from one of these. Hello, welcome, my name's Carol. I have a new tool and I'm going to show it to you today, and it just may change your jewellery making life forever. Today's tutorial is going to be a little bit different. So about 2 weeks ago I received 3 large boxes that were sent to me, and in it was this, which I will talk about in a minute. So unfortunately, when the boxes arrived, I was sick. So my husband, of course with my permission, opened the boxes, and he has been playing with this little tool since. And he's been having lots and lots of fun. So what I've done is I have asked him to come and join us today, and he's going to walk us through all the specs and show us what he's discovered while playing with this tool. So this is the XTool F1, and it is a laser cutter and engraver, and it does fabulous things. So I'm going to ask Andy to join us now, and we will get started. Hi Andy.
Hi Carol, how are you?
Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, if you're a member of my private YouTube group, then you will know Andy, because he appears in all our Zoom calls, and he also is always on our live streams as well. So you will already know him. But if you haven't met him before, this is my husband Andy.
Hi.
All right. So we have been playing with some different materials, and we have been making some cool stuff, and I wanted to share that with you. And one of the things we have been doing is making little earrings from these spoons, forks. All right, so Andy, tell us about this wonderful machine.
Okay, so yeah, really excited when this actually showed up, because this is a very portable, very versatile laser engraver and cutter, and you can see the size of it is really quite small. And you also notice that there is another box beside it. That is actually an air purifier. Thank you, my lovely assistant. And so the thing about this is that it's also incredibly fast compared to a lot of other laser cutters and engravers. I think, well, I've got some notes here. It's around 4,000 millimeters per second. The really cool thing about that, why it's so fast, is that there's no real moving parts in this, and that the lasers are above and they move across the actual work area really fast, really quick.
It's also very light. It weighs less than 5 kilos, so you could take it with you to a craft show if you wanted to. And the smoke purifier is not purifier. It's actually not much bigger, so you know, it's very, very portable.
I think some of the sizes that we've got here is that it is 179 millimeters by 235 millimeters by 334. That's the height of it there.
Oh, that's the height.
Yeah,
334.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. And
as you can see, the actual air purifier is not much bigger from that. There is an inlet that connects from, or an outlet that connects from the actual F1 through to the purifier, and then if you wanted to, it's behind there, but if you wanted to, you could then attach another outlet from the purifier outside the window or something. But what that really means is that you can actually work with this in a small space inside without nasty fumes.
So we've been using it in my studio, which isn't very big, and it works really, really well. So no worries about, you know, smelly fumes or anything like that.
Yeah. So like I said, there's 2 different types of lasers. A IR infrared laser, and that is a 2 watt IR laser. Now that's really more for working on your metals and your things like stone.
So that's more
slate.
For engraving?
That's engraving. This really isn't going to cut through metal. It's not designed for that. It's actually for engraving, but it will actually cut through things such as wood and acrylic. And I think the size, the depth it will go through, for wood it will go up to 8 millimeters. So if you got some wood, it will do 8 millimeter thick wood. And we've been using ply, which is quite easy to actually manipulate and to cut through. And
we'll show you shortly.
And also acrylic. So we've actually got some acrylic pieces there, yeah?
Yep.
And that was, I think, they can go up to 5mm, but we've got 3mm. And there's a lot of testing that you actually have to do to figure out, the actual settings to cut through and engrave on different materials.
And at this point, I need to say I'm really grateful that Andy had to do all that because he spent ages and testing and writing down notes, and each piece that he created, he wrote on the back of it the settings so that when I came along, it was nice and easy for me to just go ahead and use it rather than doing all that research. So that's a really good tip. If you are going to use this laser, then as you experiment, write the settings on the back of the pieces that you've cut out so that you will remember the settings that you used for that piece.
The software,
while you're learning.
Yeah, but the thing is that the software is really easy to use, and you can bring in your own artwork. You can also build some artwork in there, and some of the tutorials that we're doing, or some of the examples, will show you some things such as using text in there, using shapes, how you can actually manipulate those shapes a little bit. It is super easy to actually use. So that is called the XTool Creative Space, I think.
Yep. So I just want to show you inside. We are going to do a few projects for you, but this area here, that measures...
The work area of it is 115mm by 115mm.
Right.
So not really big, but there's another video that we're going to do because they sent us another piece as well, which is actually a slide extender, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so that will stay watching for that video.
But what that means is that we can do really big pieces or really long pieces, and they will go through.
Yeah, so all sorts of fun going on in our household at the moment. So what we're going to do next is we're going to show you how we created the pieces we've got in front of us. And there's a bit of a theme going on. You will have noticed the bunnies. We've also got some little Easter eggs because Easter's coming up. So we're going to do that. We'll show you the top-down camera, so seeing exactly what the laser's doing, and also we will show you what we're doing in the software. So stay to the end and I will show you how to make these pieces into jewellery as well.
One last thing, safety about this.
Oh yes, yes.
This has a whole lot of safety features in here. So because it is aimed at people who are wanting to actually get into a little bit of engraving, a little bit of cutting or some of these materials, but the safety features that are built into it are really great.
On the side here is a stop button, and if it's pushed in, you cannot use the laser. So you turn it.
Yeah, push it in, turn, and
push it in to stop, and turn it to turn it the stop off.
Back on. Yeah.
And on the other side here is the go button. So that one you push to make it go. So it's a really physical process, which is really good because you can't turn it on accidentally.
Yeah.
And as you can see, it's got this green protector, and it lifts up and down. It actually stops wherever you put it, so you don't necessarily have to have it all the way down, and we'll show you that in a minute.
But it's advisable too because we're dealing with lasers. It's really important for eye protection. Exactly. So this has the shield on it, which is really great. You can, of course, get glasses to wear, and that's also another thing that you can do to mitigate any kind of risk that you have. But they've put that into it. Also, the software and the system also detects things such as if there's too much heat, too much smoke, flame, it will actually shut off and do its own kind of safety.
So it's really safe to use.
It is a great safety piece.
One more thing before we go to showing you how it works is this button here on the side. You turn it to focus the lasers. So there are two dots here, and you turn it to bring them together, and you can hear it doing that. And when we show you, you'll hear that noise while we focus it. Okay, so we're going to now show you what we made. The first thing we're going to do is use a piece of black photo paper, which came in the kit, and we are going to engrave a photo on it of my mum and dad when they were young, and they look like babies, especially my dad. The first thing we did was open the file. Now the file is too large for the canvas, so you need to click yes to scale it to the size of the canvas. Now we need to choose the material that we're using, so we click on the material and we're going to click on more, and we're going to search for the art paper that we're using. Now by clicking on the image, you bring up this extra box and you can change the image and make it look different, but we're just going to leave it the same. And we're going to invert the image. Now we've popped our paper into the F1 and we've focused the laser, and it's going to engrave the picture onto the paper. And that's what it turned out like. Isn't it cool? I just think that's amazing. Next up, I'm going to have a go at engraving on one of these metal dog tags. And this came in the kit as well. It's a stainless steel heart-shaped dog tag. And we got lots of other shapes as well. We got some round ones, some dog bone-shaped ones, all sorts of things. There was actually a lot in the kit. This time we're going to create our image from scratch. So we're using the heart-shaped dog tag. So we've just popped a heart in there as a reference, and we're going to make it the right size, which is 22 millimeters by 22 millimeters. And we're going to center it on the screen there. Next, we're going to add some text, and I'm going to use the word love, which is so predictable, but hey, it's all good. So type out the word that you want. I'm going to change the size of the font, and I'm going to use the Dancing Script font. Now I've just rotated it a little bit and centering it on my heart there. Next, we need to choose our material. And this time we're just searching for the heart-shaped stainless steel dog tag. So that's going to tell the machine exactly what we're making, and it's going to set up the settings for us. We're actually going to select the heart and click ignore because we don't want it to engrave or cut the heart. And we're going to select the word love, and then we're going to choose engrave. Now we're just going to stick with the settings for this particular piece. Next, we're going to frame it. So I'm putting a piece of paper on here because it's just a little bit easier to see that the lasers are lined up. And then we click the framing button and we move the heart so that we can see the words on there. And then we stop framing, and then we can hit process. And now we can hit the start button. Once you've put the screen down, you hit the button on the side and it will engrave the word love on the heart for us. It's very cool, isn't it? This is what my heart turned out like, and I think I did a pretty good job for my first attempt. Possibly I could have changed the direction of it slightly, but I'm quite happy with that, and I will show you how to turn this into a pendant later on. Next up, we're going to be doing the first of our bunnies, and we're going to be using some 2mm plywood to do that. So we've opened our file for our bunny earrings. This time we're cutting, so we need to use this piece to place our plywood on, and as you can see, the laser isn't focused because it's now higher. This time we are going to cut because we're cutting our plywood, and we've set it to blue light. The power is 80 and the speed is 8, and it's going to do 1 pass. Now we're framing it. And then we stop framing, and then we hit process. And it's going to cut out our little bunny earrings. I should say this is a 2mm thick piece of plywood. Okay, let's see what we've got. And as you can see, they're falling out because they are cut. So here's our bunnies that we cut out, our 4 shapes. We cut out more than this because we were making 2 earrings, but I wanted to show you what I've done with them. So the first thing I did was I coloured this one in, and all I did here was I took a piece of paper, so I protected my mat, and I took my marker, which is just it's a Bic market, and all I did was coloured in my background, just like this. Super easy, and I think this would be a really cool project to do with the kids. Obviously you're not going to let them use the laser, but what you can do is, you know, prepare it on screen and then you use the laser and they can watch and then they can colour them in. So it's a cool Easter project actually that they could do. Okay, so that's how I coloured it in. It's just missed a little bit there. And then I'm not going to actually stick these together at all. What I did for the front, where's he gone? Here he is. What I did for the front one is I did this with 2 markers actually. Firstly, I took this one, which is a Sharpie permanent marker, and it's just a grey colour, and I coloured this one in. Just exactly the same. I just put the paper down to protect my mat. Now I wasn't 100% happy with the colour of this one. So that's what that looks like now. But it's kind of meh. So what I did was, this is an Anko glitter highlighter, and I got this at Kmart, and it's just got a bit of glitter in it. So I went over it again with this marker, or this highlighter, and it just gave it a little bit more sheen. And it made the colour a bit darker. Alright, so that one I teamed up with this one here. Like that. And I really like that the markers on the wood, they actually have this kind of sheen to them. It's very cool. Now you could also, if you didn't like the blue, you could use a pink. That's a kind of a peachy colour. Alright, so that's that one. Now I've got 2 non-matching earrings, but that's okay. Now this one here, we did something different again. So this is the background, and I coloured this one in peach, just exactly like, it's actually a bit of a different colour than that one, but just playing with the colours. And with this one, I did something different again. So there's this is this one, and it goes on here with that one. Now I've also got a blue one because I couldn't decide. So you tell me in the comment section below which ones you prefer. Do you prefer the copper with the blue or with the pink? Let me know. So how I made this copper one was I took some of this gel medium and I painted it on. Excuse my, it's got fingerprints on it, and then so I painted that onto my bunny, and so therefore made it sticky, and then I just painted some of this Pearl X powdered pigments, and it's in a super bronze colour on top, and that is how I created this one. So basically you could probably use any type of glue and just use the pigment on the top, and it's just given it that really beautiful copper sheen. Okay, so there are my bunnies. We also cut those same shapes out in the acrylic, and this is a 3mm, I think, acrylic that came with the kit. Now you could glue these together. I decided not to. I think when I put the jump ring in, they will hold together, but we'll talk about that shortly. Also with the kit came these leather rounds, and they 3Ms. They have a sticky on the back, and we also got these coloured aluminium business cards, and they're really cool as well. And here's one that Andy has engraved. So that's kind of fun. Now you're probably wondering what on earth I was talking about with this fork. So what we did with this one is we created an Easter egg out of the fork part. So the fork actually is 2mm thick as well. So this time we've got 2 layers. We've got an engraved layer and a cut layer, and you can turn off the layer by just clicking on the little eye there next to it. So we're going to work with the cut layer first. You can see it's set to cut. Our settings are going to be 80 for power and speed is 7, and we're going to do 1 pass. Next we're doing our engrave layer. So we've got the engrave layer selected. We click engrave. On the right hand side we're using the blue light. The power is 100, the speed is 80, the passes are 1, and the lines per centimetre are 100. And we're just going to frame it. Now this time we need to use some blue tack to hold the fork in place, because the first time we did this it moved while it was cutting. So just framing it up, getting it in the right place so it fits just on that fork. And of course you need to focus your laser, and notice this time we're not putting the cover all the way down. So there you go, it has done its engraving and its cut. And there it is. So there you go, there's my fork with its Easter egg cut out, and this one I was testing some colours on it, and my original. So as you can see, we just made it big enough just to fit on our fork. So that's what you can do with all those forks that you collect from takeout restaurants. So there's my Easter egg. Now what I decided to do with my Easter egg is I did decide to colour it in. You could leave it like this if you wanted to, but I decided to just give it some colour because I'm a colourful person. And just using my markers again, and I might just colour in the centres of the flowers, just like that, and these ones down here. Maybe I'll make this bit at the bottom pink as well. Now I feel like I need some blue on there, so let's do this bit in the blue. Now what you can do, and I've seen other people do this, is when you cut it out you can put tape over it and cut out just the tape. So that it leaves, cut it out around the tape. So for example, you could leave the tape in these circles so that you can just paint over them or draw over them. I didn't do that, so I'm just having to carefully go around them, but it's up to you. So I didn't do that very carefully, but you know, because I'm rushing because of time, but you could certainly get a better result than I did. But there we go, there's our Easter egg. Right, so let's make these things into some earrings. So the first thing we're going to do is make up our pendant. So I don't have a chain on hand, but basically all you would do is take a jump ring. I've got a 6mm jump ring here, and I've got 2 pairs of chain nose pliers. I'm going to open my jump ring. Actually, this one's already open. And I'm going to feed on my little pendant and close up my jump ring. If you haven't done this before, I've got a whole video on how to use jump rings. All right, just making sure it's really well closed. It's not quite there. It's better. And there it is. And then all you would do is feed your chain through there and you have a pendant, and that was pretty quick and easy, wasn't it? So you can order all of these things from the XTool website. I'll leave you links in the description box below. Okay, with my Easter eggs, all I will be doing here is taking my jump ring, once again this one's open, popping on my earring and an ear hook. Honestly, this couldn't be easier. As I said, even kids could do this. And then just closing up my jump ring. If you have a look at that earring, there's something wrong with it. So you can see that in order for it to hang to the front, the ear hook is actually going the wrong way. So if I put that in my ear, it will hang that way. So let me show you how to fix that. So all you need to do is take the loop of your earring and turn it. So you want this part of your earring to be the front. And so we will turn it that way, I think. There we go, that's better. Now it will hang perfectly in my ear. And I'll show you. Let's just take out one of these, put in one of these. Oops. And there's my little Easter egg earring. By the way, if you want to make the earrings that I'm wearing today, I'll leave you a link in the description box below for the video tutorial for these. These are also super quick and easy. Okay, so that's one earring down. Let's make some more. So with these ones, as I said, you could glue that on there if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put my jump ring through both pieces. So through both holes like that. And then I'm going to feed on my ear wire. Actually, before I feed on my ear wire, I'm going to turn that loop. It's much easier to do beforehand. So just holding it and turning it like that. And now I can put it on, making sure that it's on the right way. So I want my ear wire to go that way. And then closing up that jump ring. If you wanted to, you could absolutely colour in the backs and just have some fun with it. So there's my bunny earring. Isn't it gorgeous? I love this colour combination. So I think I've made up my mind. I prefer the blue, but you still let me know. Do you like the pink or the blue? All right, so we've got one more to do. This time we're going with the pink and the grey. So taking my jump ring. I have got felt pen all over my fingers, but that's okay. It's lots of fun to get messy, isn't it? I'm going to take my ear wire and I'm going to twist my loop around like that, so it's basically side on. That's what I need. And now I'm going to feed on my two holes of my earring that we cut out. And I want to make sure my ear wire goes on the right way, and then closing up my jump ring. So there's my bunny earring number 2. Isn't it cool? And so easy to make, and as I said, it would be a great project for kids to do. So over the next few weeks, I have some other projects planned with my XTool, and I hope that you will join me for those. Yeah, I've got some really cool stuff in mind, so stay tuned. If you would like to see an unboxing of the XTool F1, I will leave you a link to one. There are heaps on the internet, but I think that Helena Daydreamer did it best, so I'm going to leave you a link for that one. And she's done some really cool projects with her XTool F1 as well, so I'll leave that linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this one. Also check me out on Facebook and Instagram. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon.